Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Tuesday, October 20th. Kristaps Porzingis. Shams Charania of ESPN was on the Pat McAfee show, and he provided a little bit of a new update on KP. The most notable thing was not really new. He said they're aiming for December, and we kind of knew that, right? We kind of knew December, but what he also did say were two tidbits that I thought were interesting and warranted some new information here. He said that they don't necessarily need to rush him back. This is a quote. And if it ends up taking till January, it takes till January. But right now they're targeting December. It could even be earlier. But right now they're really, focused on that month. And then on top of that, he also mentioned that the Celtics have Kristaps on a very specific, recovery plan where there are benchmarks in terms of how does his legs look, how do his calves look, and once he reaches all the benchmarks and all the categories and all the measurements that they said, okay, this is good, then he will come back. So sort of just gave a little bit of an update, a little bit of a detailed assessment of how the Celtics are handling KP.
The perspective is very good. I mean, we being outsiders do not know anything about his recovery. All we can tell you is we see him walking around. I mean, he was at ring night. He went out to get his ring and he looked fine walking around. He hasn't really shown any kind of favoring to either leg since we've seen him back with the team, which is a really good sign towards his recovery. And Jack and I will tell you, like, we were at the game yesterday and we were doing the pregame. I think we finished the pregame. We looked down, or we were just starting the pregame, rather. We looked down and Porzingis is out there shooting around like he's warming up, not with the team, but he was going through his drills that they would do individually before each game. So that's a good sign towards his recovery. We've heard plenty of things throughout the summer, ever since he hurt himself, where it was, oh, yeah, he's like really turning heads with how he's recovered. Obviously, the team doesn't care if he comes back or not right away because they just want him to be healthy in the playoffs when the games mean the most. But we have heard Brad Stevens say, yeah, like even us internally, we are surprised with how quickly he's progressing. What do we think of this? Well, and I think you too have just kind of held oh yeah, it's going to be Christmas. Like that is the day that I think everybody has in mind. It's probably the most easily not going to disappoint you day. It's like a good day to sit on and be like, okay, he comes back sooner, great. Probably won't have to come back after because they say December, and December, obviously Christmas is at the end, not the beginning. So you're going to have plenty of December before Christmas as well, but I can see Christmas being the target date. I can also see them wanting him to come back a little bit before Christmas since it's just usually such a big game, right? Like that's
Yeah.
one of the like after opening night, like that's the next biggest game that they will play until
I don't
like
think they
the
care
new year.
though. I don't think the Celtics really care about the bigness. That's not a word, but
Philly on
of
Christmas?
games. I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
So
maybe you don't
like,
want to put there for that game actually.
well, my thing is, I think Christmas makes sense because, to put it, no disrespect intended. This is meant as completely like a kind thing. Kristaps Porzingis loves a flair for the dramatic. This man was coming out to WWE entrances
He
in the
does.
NBA Finals. He loves it, right? If there were to be a dramatic fashion WWE type entrance, Christmas would be the time where it would be, okay, here, look, he is. Merry Christmas. Here's your Christmas present, Kristaps, or whatever. And he comes out, and he's like, oh, he's wearing a Santa hat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be Kristaps's mojo.
There's your short for
Um,
tomorrow.
if he's wearing a Santa hat, I'm gonna come back to this. But I think what's most important, and Shams mentioned this in his update too, like they don't need him. I think the Celtics, and I assume you would agree, the Celtics have the best team in basketball without Kristaps Porzingis. Like if you took him off the team completely, if he retired tomorrow, the Celtics I think would still be one favorite to win the titles, two still have the best starting lineup in basketball. I stand on that. I believe that.
I
And
think you
I
likely lose a little bit of depth, but I
maybe,
mostly
but
agree.
they stomped the Knicks on opening night. They beat the Bucks handedly by the time the fourth quarter rolled around. I mean, obviously the Wizards and the Pistons are the Wizards and the Pistons, but they're 4-0. They look like they haven't missed a beat. Al Horford looks 25 years old. Jason Tatum looks like he's made improvements. Jaylen Brown still looks like Jaylen Brown. Derek White looks better. Peyton Pritchard looks like a monster. Like, obviously you want Kristaps, right? This isn't me saying, oh, it's fine, whatever. They don't need Kristaps, right? You don't need him, but you want him out there. There should be whatever the opposite of a rush is. Like you should take more than the time you need. Like you should be overly cautious. Like I'm not saying play Joel Embiid out there, but I'm saying like let's keep him out until he is fully completely ready. And even then, it wouldn't surprise me if they pull it's like the NBA Finals. We're going to start Al Horford, bring Porzingis off the bench. Like I would bet that they bring Porzingis off the bench until like the playoffs, maybe. And even then, like Porzingis might just be a bench player now. Like genuinely, I think that could be what is best for his career. Like I'm serious. I think that would be best for the health of him, for the Celtics load management of him, and also like you get to bring Kristaps Porzingis off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that would be a bad thing, and I don't think that is out of the cards. Like, at the very least, I think when Kristaps comes back, he will come off the bench.
I think these guys on the team don't care, so it wouldn't surprise me if he just is like, whatever, I'll come off the bench. Because,
He did in the
like you mentioned,
finals.
it's what happened in the finals. So I don't really see it being a point of contention amongst the players. One thing I will say about Porzingis, they are absolutely a better team with him, and I don't think you disagree. But the
For sure.
impact of having him should not be understated because even though the Celtics are a great team, as is, no Porzingis, not going to debate you. They looked good. They beat the piss out of the Knicks. We'll go down the line, whatever. They beat everybody so far. It's still going to be beneficial to the two stars, Tatum and Brown, to have him out there because you have probably a more reliable three-point shooter and creator than Al Horford. You have another option, a legitimate scoring option. Not to say that Derek White isn't, but Porzingis is a different type than those two, where Derek White, though smaller, is a very similar type scorer where he's going to create off the dribble. Porzingis is going to create out of the high post, and he's going to be a pick and pop man. That's very helpful because he's going to draw guys out of the paint. Even if you watch the Bucks game, we talked a lot about it afterwards because we did the video the day before where we were talking about Tatum looks great on these step in threes. Teams were able to overcommit, teams being the Bucks, were able to overcommit to Tatum off the dribble because they weren't afraid of the other guy. If the other guy is Porzingis, they are either going to one, have to decide, or two, overcommit to Tatum and leave a guy that was a sniper from three for the last 2 seasons wide open. And this isn't a
I
knock at Horford. He's reliable too, but he's just not the same. I can't
I
explain it.
disagree. I don't think they were guarding Tatum that way because there was lack of a threat. I think they just did a better job of coming up to the level and recovering. Like Brooke Lopez just came to the level and the other guy switched onto him and then they switched back. And I don't think that was because there wasn't a guy like Porzingis. I'm not disagreeing with you that having Porzingis makes a difference. Like Porzingis is objectively a better basketball player. He's basically a better version of Al Horford at this point, right? So I 100% agree with you. And I do think there are more options. I think the biggest difference and the biggest impact of having Porzingis is you have a post game, right? Like right now, you kind of have that. Like Tatum will do it every once in a while. Jaylen Brown will get dirty in the post a little bit. Like Drew Holiday even does it, but like you don't really have a guy you can say, okay, here's the ball, go do something down low, right? And I think that is a very necessary thing because we've seen so far, Celtics are not a good 2-point shooting team so far this season. They have not shot well from two. They've shot
They were
amazing from three.
oddly better yesterday.
But they were, but I think Porzingis having him back will help that. And another thing, the Celtics opponents are shooting 60% from two against the Celtics this year. Not very good. Having a 7'2" guy who's a monster around the rim probably would help with that too. So obviously you want Porzingis back, but at the same time, like I stand on what I said. I still think they're the best team in basketball without Kristaps Porzingis. So you want him back. Do not rush. That is where I stand.
Should they
It
trade
sounds like everything is
Porzingis?
going very, very
Tomorrow's
well.
pod.
Absolutely not.
Stick around to find out.
Sounds like the recovery is going very well. December is the target. Sooner is ideal, but they're not going to rush it by any means. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know what you think down below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and all that same. Take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think about Porzingis. When's he going to come back? Tell us. You can also hit the bell. Jack and I are here every single morning with new pods. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps morning after each game, and other videos like this one in between to keep you busy. So we are here for you no matter what. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. All of our pods and game recaps are up there. So if you just want the audio versions of what we're doing, go ahead and follow. It'll go right into your feed. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. And Jack's Twitter is at JackSmone NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.